out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts. Shout out to everybody out there on Team Banky Pound, man. I appreciate the love. Boom, 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 boom. Appreciate the support. We out here, man. 33 years of prison stories, man. We rolling. I appreciate everybody who been rocking with me. I appreciate everybody who hitting that subscribe button, everybody who liking the videos, everybody who's talking to me in the comments, man. I appreciate it. I feel it. I appreciate it. I give you the love right back. We out here, man. Today, man, I wanted to do something a little different. I've been strolling lately through social media, man, and I seen something that caught my eye, and I went and looked at it, and I hit the button, and I said, oh no, let me stop. I said, I'm gonna do a reaction to this. So I hit it and I stopped it because I wanted to do a reaction to it because I'm just puzzled about what it's gonna say and what it's gonna be like. Just the title alone just intrigued me. So I said, well, let me try to do a reaction to this because I wanted to do a lot more reactions and you know, see what y'all think or give y'all my take on, you know, what's reality versus, you know, what they want y'all to believe is reality. So this topic was on ABC News. So I said, okay. And it was called No Way Out, Undercover in Solitary Confinement. So it just made my mind wonder who going in undercover in solitary confinement? You know, because like I told y'all, solitary confinement is the whole. You know, that's a prison within a prison. When you out on population and then whatever it be, you get into trouble, you get the rumbling, you get, you know, that Bethlehem play, whatever it may be, and you go to, you know, segregation. You go, you know, to confinement, solitary confinement. Man, I told y'all, I spent almost 4 years at one time in there straight and several other stints in there, but that was the longest one long stretch. And yeah, it was a fight, man, to you know, to keep my mental, man, to keep my sanity, man, because it will make you lose all hope. It will make you feel like your life is worthless. You know what I'm saying? It's just worthless. If this is how I gotta live, my life is worthless. And you have to fight that off, man. And that's a daily fight. You know, you can't sleep it off. You can't work out. You work it off. You can't read. No matter what you do, as that time keep going on and on and on, and you keep waking up to the same mundane, the same, you know, over and over Groundhog Day, and you like, this is it? This is it? This is life? Man, it'll break you down, man. So, yeah, so I was curious to see who would go undercover in solitary confinement and for how long. I guarantee you it ain't long. I can bet you that, because the average person is not built for that. No one is actually built for it, but just it's not. So let's check it out, man. Let's see what's going on, man. Let's get to it. You know, let's see what's happening here.
The Navy wasn't going to be forever.
ECPI University.
I knew I wanted something that was going to translate.
He's trying to pass the time for No Way Out. You are looking at prisoner 106, on the books as a dangerous armed robber. He is preparing to enter what many call hell on earth. Solitary confinement before you meet its residents. Just listen to that.
This is prison. You know, I mean, we're not here for being nice. I've seen guys resort to cutting themselves and killing themselves, you know?
As prisoner 106 is moved into the unit,
I don't know that I have ever felt as vulnerable as I do right now.
the thing almost nobody here knows is that this inmate is actually the Secretary of Corrections for the state of New Mexico, Greg Marcantel. A former cop who spent a career putting away bad guys, he's now going to try to spend 48 hours living among the worst of the worst.
First of all, he said that he's second in charge of some of the prison, and then you heard he said 48 hours. 48 hours in solitary confinement. 48 hours, man. I spent almost, almost 48 months. So you talk about 48 hours versus 48 months. You understand? I'm curious now to see how he gonna handle this. And and what did they say? He was a secretary of something or second in command of the prison. So he, first and foremost, he know he's safe. He ain't nobody gonna do nothing to him because you're in a cell by yourself. Second of all, you know you coming out. It ain't, so your mental is already, locked in on 48 hours. I can sleep for 48 hours. You know what I'm saying? So his mental is already locked in on he know he getting out. Versus a person who be in there and you go to SEG, and depending upon what your case is, you don't know when you coming out. You know what I'm saying? And then depending upon how much time you got. If you ain't got no end date, if you ain't got no date where you automatically know you getting out, it ain't no telling when you coming out. So that's a different mentality. That's a different way of thinking, that, okay, I don't know how long I'm going to live, but if I ain't getting out of prison, and then this is how I got to live. They going to, because trust me when I tell you, them people will tell you that you ain't coming out, that you going to do your whole bit back here, depending upon what your case was. I've been told that before. So you got that in your mental. I'm never getting out, and this is how I got to live. I got to stay here for the entire time. Man, yeah, people do commit suicide. People do lose their mind. People do go crazy because that's hard, man. That's a hard life to live, man. That's just crazy. But we got old boy here say 48 hours. Let's see what's happening.
Surveillance footage shows what these men are capable of if they get loose.
This is a public safety issue.
So why is the secretary willing to put himself through this? He's decided he wants to reform the state's use of solitary because most of these inmates will end up right back on our streets.
We're sending people back to our neighborhood.
Okay, now if y'all seeing this, what you should be, courtesy of Hollywood Trail. But as you see them dudes coming in, that dude coming in the stairs, bloody all like that. You see the dude on top of the dude trying to put that Bethlehem in it. That's normal activity in prison. That's normal. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing, man. You can hear a ruckus and hear noise, and you come out your cell and you see somebody, it look like they got a red jumpsuit on because it's blood everywhere. Blood coming out their face, blood coming out their head. That's just what goes on in prison. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it ain't no guns in prison. There ain't nobody shooting nobody across the pod, across the hall, and then you got to get up close and personal, man. And a lot of dudes ain't built for that. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of dudes are just terrified in there, and they become victims because of their fear. But when you don't put yourself in a position where you got to be in prison, man, you got to just embrace that fear, man, and just say you will, in my opinion, you will be better off if you just, do what you got to do when you got to do it. Let the chips fall where they may, because if you don't and you just let somebody just straight take advantage of you, man, it's going to be worse. It's going to be worse because you at their mercy and they may not have no mercy. So there's no telling what they would do from you, what they would take from you. There's no telling. But if you stand up, even if you have to fall, you stand up. If you survive, man, you have earned some type of level of respect. You know what I'm saying? But when you don't, man, it's just another level, man. So let me see what he's talking about.
It's worse than when they came.
As the clock starts running on his 48-hour lockdown, the secretary settles into his 12-by-7 concrete cell.
That's what
Level
the cells
6 is
look
divided
like.
up into 3 separate units, housing a total of 282 inmates. In here for crimes ranging from rape to armed robbery to murder. Combined, these men have killed 138 people. In cell 111 is Freddie Munoz.
This is my...
Now you see that they say and said combined, them dudes have killed 138 people. Now, I know to the average person listen to that, they'll be like, whoa, that's what they should be, this, that, and the third, or man, that's crazy, or they just put you in a state of, like fear, like you wouldn't want to be in there. But when you in prison, man, you can't even think about that. You can't think about what somebody did. You can't think about what they in there for. You got to think about you. You got to think about how you gonna live, how you gonna conduct yourself, and what you gonna go for and what you ain't gonna go for. It don't matter. It didn't matter. It didn't matter to me at the time if the dude beside me done killed 5 people. If the dude on this side of me done killed 6 people, I ain't gonna let him kill me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna let him kill me. So that's the way you gotta think. But when you go in there and you thinking in your mind, oh man, he killed these people, oh he killed them people, and then you scared, and that fear is gonna come off of you. It's gonna be, they can see it, they can sense it. And they may not even want to say nothing to you because they don't even know you. But once they sense that fear, that might draw them to you, man. It's like it draw them right to you. And that's when all the games begin, man. That's when the extortion, that's when the trickery, the tomfoolery, the skullduggery, the larceny, all of that comes to you by the way you conduct yourself. You know what I'm saying? But, man, yeah.
Right here. For good or bad, this is it. Growing up, Munoz wanted to be an astronaut, but at age 13, he got caught up in gangs.
How many murders did you commit? 2 murders.
Because of his violent past and his gang affiliation, prison officials have kept him in a cell like this every day for the past 10 years. These 4 walls are all he's got. He knows every crack, every inch of peeling paint.
What does that do to your...
Now, you see what he say? Now, he been in there 10 years. 10 years in a cell like that. Now, let's go to Bo Billy. We talking 22 years. This is what the cells actually look like. So I guess it's universal in all prisons. It's a little small cell like that. You ain't got nothing in there but the bunk, the table, and the commode. This is it. You know what I'm saying? If you got a window, some of them don't got windows, but you can barely see out of the window. But this is where you at every day, 24 hours a day. You may come out your cell once every 3 days in Seg to take a shower for probably 15 minutes. And then once a week, you might get an hour outside on the rec yard when you caged up like an animal in just this little small cage that's smaller than your cell. They might got workout where you could work out in there or whatever, but then you going right back in. You know what I'm saying? By the time they filed everybody out to get them out on there in individual cages, by the time they get to the last person, they go right back to the first cell and start taking you out because it's been about an hour. You know what I'm saying? Then it's just a whole system that they got. But it makes you feel more like an animal, man. And I can remember at one time, man, I can't remember exactly the year, but they was really trying to degrade you when you was in SEG and make you feel, less than human. They started, instead of walking you out, each CO got each arm, they started trying to put a leash, like for a dog. They started trying to put a leash on the handcuffs and walk you out with a leash. And a lot of dudes protest because they was like, you ain't put no leash on me, man. And they protested and dudes stopped going out for rec and stuff like that, which they don't care. But I think when it saturated out to the public what they was doing, man, they ended up stopping it because they know it was inhumane. You know what I'm saying? It's inhumane, and this is what they was trying to do. They was literally trying to put leashes on human beings, man, just to walk them to the yard, and make their job easier, because if they got the leash on you, they can jerk you, pull you down, and you got the handcuffs on you, and you got all of this stuff on your shackles. What do you need all of that for? You see what I'm saying? So it's crazy, but, like I say, when you've been in there for years, like this cat right here, say 10 years, I know it's a struggle to his mental. And then they start doing that as well when you start coming in and you had these crazy cases or whatever. You're supposed to be housed by levels, and then in prison you're supposed to be housed by what you've done in prison. What you've done on the street should not make a difference when you're coming into prison, because you haven't did anything in prison to be at these high levels or to be in segregation. But they started doing that. Why? Because they built these supermaxes in Virginia where they had to fill the criteria, because they done sold the government all of these war stories about how they need the prison, and these prisoners are out of control and they crazy and they this and they that, and they fund them to build these prisons, and now you don't have enough people that's going hard like that to fill up these beds of a whole institution. You know what I'm saying? So they start using people that's coming in with this crime, put you up there. Oh, you coming in there, we gonna put you up here for receiving. And they just filling up the beds any way they can, man. This is prison politics, man, which is just crazy. Because imagine a person just coming in off the street, regardless of what his charge is, he know nothing about prison life. And you're gonna send him straight up here in the segregation, and straight up here where all the wolves at, all the crazy people at, all the most violent people at. It can happen. I've known it to happen, especially in the last latter years of me getting out, man, which is insane, man. It's insane. Yeah, it's straight insane, man. But let's see what else going on, man, and pick up on.
It is perpetual misery.
Definitely.
It's ennui, it's monotony, it's repetition.
He says the
Definitely.
only way to keep it together in here is to establish a strict routine, a sort of imitation of life.
I exercise,
I did it.
I read a lot.
I did that. I did them pull-ups like that on the. I did all of that. You know, I did what he's saying. I've gotten in a routine. You gotta get in the routine because you trying to. It's like working out your brain, and the routine is to work out for your brain. You have to keep your brain off of what is actually going on. You know what I'm saying? If you do not keep your brain off of what is actually going on, I believe that is the remedy for you to lose your mind, for you to go insane. Because all you see is four walls. And like he said about, man, you know, every crack in here, I knew every crack. I knew every piece of the wall that was peeling. I knew how many steps it took to get to the door. I knew the sound of the toilet when it flushes and all the way to the, I know when it's going to stop and the water's going to start bubbling. And I mean, it's just, it's sickness, man, and it's insanity, you know, but this is the life, man. This is the life that you have to live, you know, which I keep telling all you young fellas out here, these kings and queens out here, man, this is not a life you want, man. This is not nothing you want to give up on the street for this. It's just not, you know what I'm saying? Because people actually live like this daily, you know what I'm saying? Daily.
Didn't have books, I probably would have already gone insane.
A few cells away, Daniel Herrera. He's also in solitary because of his gang affiliation. He's 23 years old and serving a sentence for kidnapping.
This is where we...
Now you see how he's sitting in that chuck hole. That's called a chuck hole. That's where they put the food in there to feed you in on these plastic trays and stuff. The garbage, the garbage that they push through that little garage. But we used to sit right there, man. You be so pressed for human contact, human conversation that, like, when they come open all of the chuck holes and get ready to feed the food, they got to have them open for when they come down there to put them in there. So we used to sit down there, get on your knees or whatever and just, get at the chuck hole or holler at somebody next door, holler at the dude down the hall because you had that little breath of fresh air. You had that little opening where you could just holler and talk to somebody. Yo, man, what's up? And as soon as the food get in there, boom, chuck hole is closed. And then they come back around when they finish and they'll take the food, the tray back out there and close it again. But just that little moment where you ain't had to be super yelling or just straining to try to hear the person that's talking next to you or the person that's a couple of cells down, dudes will be right there. All you'll see is a face in the chuck hole. You know what I'm saying? Man, what's up, man? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? This is what your life has been reduced to. Because other than that, you just in there, with the four walls, which a lot of people start talking to themselves. You know what I'm saying? But just ain't nobody to answer you but you. So yeah, I can relate to this, man, because I've been through it. Sadly enough, I've been through it enough.
I mean, right here you can see the width of our rooms.
At our request, he shows us one of the tricks of solitary.
Yeah, that's fishing.
It's
That's
called
fishing.
fishing.
Hold up. The fishing is when we don't have nothing. We can't get nothing. The police don't post a pass, nothing or nothing like that. So dudes are so creative in their minds, man. Dudes know how to open the chuck hole. I know how to open the chuck hole without the police using the key. You know what I'm saying? These are tricks of the trades. But okay, say you got somebody across the hall from you. Right across the hall from you. You got somebody 5 cells down, and you want a book, you need some soap, or they might be back there smoking cigarettes, smoking weed, and they got some weed, or they got a lighter, or they got something that you need. What you do is you'll fish it, and what you'll do is, usually, depending upon how big the opening is at the bottom of the cell. If you got a big opening, some of them got big openings, some of them got small. Depending upon what that is, usually you have to put something with some weight on it. Dudes will take envelopes and fill them up with a whole bunch of paper and seal it, put a little hole in it, put a string on it, and you slide it. And it slide as far as you can, and you just make this long string. Sometimes dudes ain't got a string. They'll use their sheet. They'll rip their sheet up in little strips and tie them up in knots. They'll give you a charge for that, destruction of state property. But dudes do it. You got to do what you got to do. And you make this long, long line, man, and you just slide it as hard as you can and get it as close to the person that you're trying to get it to. And then they going to slide theirs out. And they going to hope they connect and they intertwine. And once they intertwine and they lock, and then you say, all right, it's locked on. And then whoever's trying to get whatever, they'll pull it to them. And you keep your string, got to be long enough where you can still hold on to your string. And then you hold on to your string. When they say, all right, it's on there, they'll attach it on there real tight, take their string off, and you just pull it back in. You fish it. That's penitentiary fishing, man. I've fished a lot. Man, dudes in there that's so nice, they can fish from upper tier to the lower tier. I've seen wine being fished from upper tier to the lower tier. It's crazy. Some dudes will take their batteries and they'll tie the batteries on there so it have more weight and it'll slide even further. And hey man, it's I know y'all probably it's like, this is crazy. Yeah, it is. It is crazy, but this is prison life, man. I understand all of this stuff.
To communicate with neighbors and stuff like that, you send it to your neighbor. So that's how we fish and get things from one cell to another in here without getting caught or getting in trouble. Back in Secretary Mercantile's cell, 9 hours in, he brushes his teeth and gets ready for a long night in a strange...
Without owning this property, you can make enough to walk away from
Strange what? One night. Ooh, I used to hate
Officer
this.
Joseph Ishaway makes his morning rounds.
What I mean by that, I used to hate that, man. You in there, you in misery, man. You going through it. Like I say, you at the lowest point of your life, probably on above ground. And then you had these officers coming in there and they whistling and they singing and all of this. It's like they poking fun at you, your misery. You know what I'm saying? And in actuality, their life probably ain't even called for them to be whistling, but they doing it to agitate you. They doing it to make you feel, even worse than you already feel. Like everything is good with me, everything is cool with me. Yeah, you laying up in here in misery, man. That used to get up under I used to hold it in, but it used to get up under my skin, man.
It's chow time.
Gotta go to them trays, that doo-doo.
When collecting the food trays, Officer Vishaway makes sure nobody has broken off a piece of plastic, which could be used to create a weapon.
Oh yeah, you can take that and melt it down and make that Bethlehem.
Working inside the lion's cage with the lion.
You ain't inside the cage, man. You outside the cage.
Rigid protocols. For example, there's a strip search for weapons or contraband every time they take an inmate out to the yard, which is known as the rec cage.
Locked down 23 hours a day, sitting reminiscing on how my life was stripped away.
And coming back is equally coordinated.
Just bringing this inmate from the rec pen into his unit. There's a choreography. Inmates get an hour a day outside of their cell. Being walked back to your cell by two.
They got it good because they must be in permanent segregation. Because even when I was in segregation, even in permanent segregation, you ain't getting no hour out your cell every day. You're not getting no hour a day. You gonna get an hour per week. Per week, you're not gonna get no hour every day, and you're gonna get a shower every 72 hours for 15 minutes at the most. And you going out there like that with 2 officers on each arm, handcuffs on, shackles on, to the shower. They is gonna script search you every time you come out that cell. They gotta script search you, take your clothes through the chuck hole. Then they gonna give them back to you. You put them on in the presence of 2 officers. When you come out or go back in, this is what you got to do every time, every single time. Degrading.
Guards is probably the only human contact you get all day.
It's 24 hours into his stay, and the confinement is starting to get to the secretary. He's trying to pass the time by working out, but there's only so much of that you can do. Claustrophobia is setting in.
I felt like the cell was kind of squeezing down on me.
You think?
He is getting a taste of why this form of punishment has become so controversial. Not only can it be 3 times as expensive as regular incarceration, but critics call it legalized torture. We are social animals. We're built for interaction. Take that away, and critics say inmates can literally lose their minds. But many corrections officials say it's a necessary tool to control a dangerous population. As a prime example, they point to an inmate like Nathaniel Stein.
I don't think I've ever interviewed somebody before who's being restrained by 2 officers. Would you consider yourself a dangerous man?
No.
However, he is in solitary for viciously attacking a corrections officer. Why did you do that?
That's a tough question. It's just a situation. I don't know why.
I do notice that when you are fessing up to something, you do smile.
I don't know why I do that.
The signal to me is that you don't feel badly about it.
Do I feel bad for the things I do? I don't really feel bad for the things I've done. You know what I mean?
On the flip side, there are...
See, now, I can't say for him because I don't know him. I'm trying to read his body language or whatever. But I do know for a fact you have dudes in there, they'll bust a move like that on a CO. Because you got to look at the dynamics. He probably got a lot of time. He probably, ain't getting out for whenever, if ever. So, he probably going to bust a move like that because he don't really want to try with an inmate or a convict because he know they going to fight back. And the police going to fight back, but they going to be restricted to what they can and can't do, especially when people watch. Now, you're going to take a beat down when you get out of sight. That's a given. But he know they can only go so far. Whereas if you try something like that with a convict, they going to, you can die. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying you can't die in some of these prisons by the hands of police because I've known it to happen several times. But the chances are less likely. You understand? So he may have a lot of time and he may bust a move. I'm not saying him in particular, but dudes may have a lot of time like that and they bust a move like that on the CO just to try to get a reputation. Just to try to let dudes know, don't play with me. Just to let dudes know, don't bother me, man. This is what I will do. You see, you know what I'm saying? So that could be a ploy too. Because I don't know where they at, what state or whatever. But I do know for a fact, man, like say, just looking at him alone, he would have had to bust some heads in Virginia. He would have had to push that Bethlehem because, dudes are going to try to extort him. That's just the nature of where we at. You understand? It's just the nature of where we at, man. But he do look a little crazy, though, so he could be,
Inmates like Freddie Munoz, who despite
But they
the
don't care
severity
about
of his
that
crimes, has been a model inmate and renounced his gang affiliation. Munoz is now one of a select few handpicked to move out of solitary and into the general population of the prison as part of the Secretary's plan to reduce the population in solitary.
To be able to go outside without being handcuffed and restrained every day, I think that would be very good for me.
It's the final morning for this undercover boss. Finally, the moment he's been waiting for.
That's how we got to get cuffed up, turn around, back up to the chuck, and get cuffed
should
up.
be used, but sparingly and only for the most dangerous.
You're going to have people who say any more than 30 days is torture. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't. There is a such thing.
If he ain't agree with it, why he ain't do 30 days? How can you judge something that you ain't even been through, something that you ain't even experienced? See, that's what a lot of people do. A lot of people pass judgment on something that you have never even experienced. You don't think it's enough, but yet in 48 hours, you just said that you was at your wit's end 48 hours, but you just said that 30 days is not more than torture. Where they have already passed a law on that before I left prison. They said if you got to be in there for that long, then they need to transfer you because that's cruel and unusual punishment. I think I spoke on that before to y'all, but at the same time, they've been doing it for decades. Decades, man. you know, and there's no compensation for that. There's no compensation for the people who went through it for decades. And if it's inhumane now, it's always been inhumane. So where's, you know, the retroactive compensation for that? You got people who lost their mind in there. You got people who killed themselves in there. You got people who just went insane, you know, from being tortured like that. But now y'all say it's inhumane. Man, come on, man. That's crazy.
Is evil. And it's up to me to make sure that not only am I protecting other inmates from them, but I'm also protecting my staff from them.
Days later, Freddie Munoz, Daniel Herrera,
Who
and 6
protected,
other inmates are brought
them
out
from
of
the
level
staff?
6 solitary in preparation for an eventual return to the general prison population. Here, for the first time in years, they'll actually be able to sit next to one another and have real human contact.
How does it feel?
It's good.
Sitting next to each other.
It's great. Good. This is living right here, finally.
These men, part of an experiment and part of a trend as New Mexico and the nation take its first steps away from this costly, controversial form of punishment. For Nightline, this is Dan Harris in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Oh man, you know, that's what segregation will do to you. It will dilute your brain, your thought process and everything. You literally just heard him say, how does it feel to be sitting next to another human being? And he said, man, this is living. See what I'm saying? Do you see the psychological trick? They will make hell so bad and worse that you will actually think they're brainwashing at its finest, you know, because prison is not living. I can promise you that. I can assure you that prison is only, you know, surviving, man. It's not living, you know, not even close. But when you've been taken out of this and put into a worse situation, within that situation, it will make you appreciate this situation even more because of this situation. But when you look at this situation, you know that this is insanity in itself. You know what I'm saying? The appreciation comes outside of them gates, man. But living in there, man, the only thing you can appreciate is if you wake up in the morning and if you can survive through a day. But yeah, it's just funny to me that he only did 48 hours, but yet he could pass judgment and say 30 days is not, you know, cruel and unusual. Why didn't you do it? You know, you in the free world, you getting paid, you get a check. Why didn't you do it? Why didn't you do it so you can say that from experience? He couldn't do it. I know he couldn't do it because people can't do it that has no choice. And he has a choice. I know he couldn't do it. I just would bet that he couldn't. He couldn't. He would ask to be let out of there. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the type of stuff that you will go through in your brain. You know what I'm saying? So I cannot see nobody doing that voluntarily for that long. You know what I'm saying? I just can't see it, you know. So, yeah, but, you know, 48 hours, that's, you know, people can sleep for 48 hours. You know, get up, eat your little garbage, your doo-doo, and go ahead and lay back down and sleep that off. So, you know, yeah, man, but it was enlightening, man. But, it you know, like I would just want y'all to know, man, that segregation is mental torture, man, and it's dehumanizing, and it's meant to break you down mentally and physically, and you have to be super, you know, focused, man, and every day you gotta wake up and you know get that focus back every day, man, because it will not change. Every day you wake up and you open your eyes and you'll think that you will wish or pray that you could be somewhere else, but you're not. You know what I'm saying? You're not. You're here every day. And just to look at these walls and just look at it and ain't nothing going on. And, man, you'll start having nightmares. You'll relive your whole entire life, everything you've ever done, every place you ever went, every girl you ever had, every argument you ever... it's just too much, man. It's too much to be in your brain and nothing else to clog it up. But I've went through all of that. I've read, book after book after book after book till, your eyes get to watering because you done read so much, and then you can't read that much because, your eyes get to hurting. You get headaches. I done worked out so much, man, till I exhaust myself and lay down and get up and work out some more till I'm exhausted. It's just repeat. And it's just, you're going to just get burnt out. you would just get burnt out on everything, man. And you just waiting and hoping that they're going to open these doors and let you out. And then, like I say, when you get out and you get back in the population, this is part of their psychological brainwashing. They want you to get back in population and appreciate that you're in population, and forget the fact that you're in population of prison, where all the danger is at, all the craziness is at, and so it's crazy, man. It's just crazy. But yeah, man. That's my opinion, man. If you wanted to give an evaluation on 30 days, you should have did 30 days, But I ain't got them doing that. Nobody voluntarily. But anyway, man, this is just one of these things I wanted to do, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about these so I can give y'all my insight. Let me know if it's anything that y'all want me to give my response or reaction to. But yeah, this was intriguing right here, man. This was something to see. I'm gonna probably think about it and process it a little later, even more so. But right now, just seeing it off the top like that and processing it, my brain is already, working, man. But y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Talk to me in the comments, man. Talk to me. Y'all know I talk back. Like I said, it's a blessing in every lesson, man. And the blessing is that they at least looking at that. You know what I'm saying? And they did change that law before I left prison, especially in Virginia. I think it was worldwide. I don't know. Don't know when this documentary was done. I can't be sure. I was just scrolling and seen it. And but they did change that, man, in Virginia, and that is the blessing, man. But I think those dudes and their families who took their life, man, deserve some type of compensation for that, because you have deemed that this is inhumane. And so that means people that was in inhumane conditions took their life because they couldn't bear it. And I think their people deserve some compensation for that, man. But y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Talk to me in the comments, man. Y'all be safe out there. Be smart. Make good decisions, man. And duck them hooks, man. Y'all see what's going on, man. Y'all see how it is in there, man. Please, please, please stay free, man. Boom, 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 boom. Duck them hooks, man. We out here. Bam.
The bacon special. Yeah. Pure deliciousness. Pure deliciousness, man. My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts.